Hi, I'm Olivia.
Hi, I'm Maggie.
And this is Girls Talk Film. But you probably know that, and you're probably our moms.
Yes, hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
This is the podcast where we take three very different movies, and they all share a common theme, and we like to compare and contrast them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically, if you miss college and you miss film school, this is for you.
Yeah. Keep in mind, we didn't go to a film school.
No, we did not.
I studied film, but it was a very, very small program. So I would not say we're experts, like even in the slightest.
That's actually so funny because I didn't even go to film school at the school we went to. I was an English and comms major, but I absolutely consider myself an expert. So have you had any interesting thoughts this week or experiences that you would like to share?
Well, last week I said that I started Adolescence
Yes.
on Netflix. So this week I finished it and I fucking loved it.
It was so good.
It's so, like, everyone needs to watch this show. It's so amazing. They just announced that they're going to do a season 2, or maybe that's still a rumor. I don't know if it's like official yet, but it actually kind of worries me because I loved this like little mini 4-part episode thing so much.
It's so perfect. Like, they don't need a season 2.
Yeah, I feel like everything they said and everything that like they wanted to do with the show was so well done in these 4 episodes that like it just worries me because I'm worried that it's going to be like a whole don't ruin a good thing.
Yes, 100%.
So, yeah, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe we'll be like blown away by it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be awesome. It's just, I don't know. I feel like the story was told, and it was told like very effectively.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they at least touched on all of the like important elements of the story. Like, there was nothing I was curious about.
What about you? What's going on?
Well, I'm starting a new job next week, so like
Yay.
that's pretty exciting. Yeah. Surprise, surprise, we don't do this full time. But yeah, so that really just kind of like prepping for that. I feel like I've been really busy lately with just random things, like even just errands. Like, there's just a lot to be done.
Yeah.
And looking forward to talking to you about some movies. Like, that'll be fun.
So before we get into the movies that we picked for this week, I have to ask, what is your like relationship with cults?
I don't think I would ever join.
Okay.
I don't think I'm like a person who's susceptible to cults. Like, even like I would never attend the wellness seminar that like inducts people into the cult. Like, I have no interest in that.
I think I'm the same as you, but I think I also would just get really bored of it really easily. Like, my friends and I were talking about joining the military once, and they were like, Maggie would go AWOL. She would just be like, all right, I think I'm done. I think I would just leave. I think I would do the same if I was in a cult. Like, one day I would just kind of be over and be like, I think I'm just going to go home now.
There's something just like very unappealing about like living in a commune too. Like, I have no desire to do that. I like being alone, and I feel like cults are typically all about like connection and like other people.
Yeah,
I don't like other people that much. Like,
no, I need my me
alone.
time.
Yeah.
I think it's more so like if they were like, yeah, we pray 4 hours a day and then we go here and we do our chores, I'd be like, every single day? Okay, I think where's the door? Like, I'd just kind of be over it. I do have a really weird fascination with cults, though.
Same. I love like cult media. Like, I like a cult documentary. I like a cult movie.
One of my favorite books is Helter Skelter, which is about the Manson murders. Like,
that's such a good one if you guys haven't read it. Like,
yeah,
it's a
great
really,
book.
really great like true crime accounting.
So yeah, I do have a really weird obsession with cults, but I'm like you, and it's like I would never, ever, ever join one.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know, like I could just never have faith in one person like that, because most cults do kind of revolve around a leader of some kind. And I don't know, I just can't see myself ever having so much faith in one person. It's just not, it doesn't align with who I am.
Even if Paul Thomas Anderson started a cult?
That's different. That's different.
That's what
Maggie.
I mean. Like they're, we'll get into it later, but one of our movies today does talk about like if a celebrity started a cult.
Yeah.
Would you ever, like, if a celebrity started a cult, would you join one if it was one you loved?
Absolutely not. No. Because them starting a cult would make me not like them anymore. Like,
But how would you know it's a cult? I guess that's the question.
Anytime anyone's promoting some sort of like community that like people move into, I feel like I always just automatically assume it's a cult.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I think if like I love like Taylor Swift and the Swifties are like a huge like fan base, but if Taylor Swift was like, I bought a farm and 500 of my Swifties can come live with me, I'd be like, what's going on here?
Yeah, no, right? Like that would immediately be like, wait, what?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the alarm bells would just like start going off in my head.
Yeah, I don't know. But we watched some very interesting movies about cults this week.
Very interesting.
Yes. Our first film is from 2012. It is Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master.
Yes, written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson.
I feel like he's a guy who likes to write his own stuff. As far as I know, he is a writer-director. I don't know if he's had another writer.
Again, I don't know that much about Paul Thomas Anderson, but
I don't even know that for sure. I just I think so.
I gotta say, I always love a movie where the director also wrote the script.
Same. It typically feels like a cohesive vision more.
Mm-hmm. The movie takes place in the early 1950s, and Freddie Quell, played by Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
Love.
He's really good in this. He's like a cross between an anorexic bulldog and a human toddler.
Sorry, I was trying to think of like the two things that you just compared him to, and you're so weirdly accurate, but like if you haven't seen this movie, you'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, but like watch the movie and it's like he plays a cross between an anorexic bulldog and a human toddler, and that just is his character. So Freddie is a World War II vet. It kind of, the movie starts right when he basically touches back down in America. And he's like a really, really messed up guy. Like,
yeah.
And it's not like, oh, he's like disturbed and misunderstood. He's like deeply unappealing and like a really just horrible person to be around.
Yeah. I wrote, one of my first notes is, this man is a degenerate.
Yeah.
Like he is a scumbag.
There is nothing sympathetic or likable about him at the beginning of this movie. Like he's just kind of like the most disgusting person.
Yeah, he's a pervert. He's an alcoholic. He is like rude. He has an insane temper. Like it's just crazy.
So Freddie is fired from his job. He was working as like a photographer in a department store after he like initiates a fight with a customer for virtually no reason.
Yeah, like actually no reason.
Yeah. He then works on a California farm until a colleague collapses after drinking this like moonshine Freddie makes. Throughout the film, he makes these like weird concoctions of drinks that are like made from like jet fuel and like
yeah, I was like, you know, his liver is on its last leg. Like he drinks that stuff like it's water, and it is literally
it's like toxic chemicals.
Yeah, he uses the like chemicals to like print the photos.
Yeah,
which is like, there's no way that's safe to ingest in any way.
Absolutely not. Don't try this at home.
No, yeah. So the man collapses. Freddie is accused of poisoning him and is kind of like chased away / flees the scene.
Yeah, which also like he did poison him.
Yes and no. I mean, it's not like he meant to kill him, but he literally was drinking poison, as Freddie was too.
But yeah, so basically he's just like having a really, really hard time adjusting to normal life after returning from war. We never really know like what he saw or what he did. We know that he did kill people.
He was in the Navy, and I think I don't know, because later they say he was like an oil something on the ship.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Maybe he lied. I don't know. He's also a liar.
Yeah, but all we know is that like he is kind of no longer fit for society. Whatever he saw like really made him into an absolute freak of nature. Like he's insane.
It also kind of makes you wonder like, who was he before this?
Yes.
We get like a very small glimpse of him before he like becomes the man that he is now, but he still kind of like has a temper.
Yeah.
He's still a very jealous, very like, you know, hot-blooded guy. And so it's kind of like, was he always this disgusting man and he just got worse, or was he like normal and now he's this like degenerate?
I think I would probably go for the argument that it's like he always had it in him, but it like war just made it really bad. Like that he can't really control himself to any level anymore.
Yeah, I could see that. So Freddy comes by this like yacht. He stows away on it. He meets this man who everyone refers to on the yacht as the Master. His real name is Lancaster Dodd. He is played by the incredible late and great Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, the GOAT, the absolute GOAT.
I literally wrote that in my notes. I wrote, here he is. It's the GOAT.
He's the greatest of all time. Like,
yeah.
He's amazing, and this movie is like no exception. He is like genuinely incredible in every single moment he's on screen.
It's like the perfect example of like an actor in their element.
Yes.
Like seeing him on screen, he is just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It is electric.
But yeah, no, Philip Seymour Hoffman is basically plays a cult leader in this film, and yeah, I get it. Like, I get why people would join the Philip Seymour Hoffman cult. That man has charisma for days.
Yeah, they're a philosophical movement, and they're called The Cause, and basically Lancaster Dodd writes these books. It's kind of like,
I mean, it's a direct parallel to L. Ron Hubbard in Scientology.
Yes.
Yeah. So we never actually hear like the full doctrine of the cause articulated, but we know that it, similarly to Scientology, espouses the belief that human beings are like made up of spirits that are separate from themselves, and that like they can access their true spirit through these like hypnosis things where they can see into their past lives and whatnot.
Yeah.
It sounds complicated because it is.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of nonsense, essentially.
Right. And in the movie, we don't go too much into like what the cult actually is. It's more so, and we'll get into it later, but it's more so about Philip Seymour Hoffman's character and Joaquin Phoenix's character and their dynamic. Yeah. And when Freddy and Dodd first meet, Lancaster Dodd is like really intrigued by him.
Yeah, kind of off the bat.
Yeah, he drinks like some of Freddy's like homemade moonshine, and he like loves it. He's like, "Can you make more?"
Which is like, I will say, kind of interesting that throughout the movie, I feel like there are little hints that it's like Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix are kind of intrinsically connected. I know Dodd, he actually says at one point, like, I know we've met before in a past life.
Yes.
And the movie kind of plays with that a little bit. Like, no one else can drink his concoctions except for Philip Seymour Hoffman.
So Lancaster Dodd's daughter is getting married on the ship, and he literally, they just met, and he's like, "Oh, you should stay. You should come to my daughter's wedding," to Freddie, and he does.
But I mean, also, he runs a cult. And this guy who's clearly like down on his luck, a little lost, like doesn't really know who he is and have any sense of self or like a personal doctrine. Like,
that's a good point.
He's kind of the perfect mark for someone like Dodd.
Yeah. And I mean, he kind of jumps on that ship like right away. He subjects Freddy to what's called processing, which is like a series of really intense questions and like exercises. And he basically just like, it starts very easily with like, say your name, say your name, say your name. And then it like progresses further and further into these like really disturbing psychological questions.
Yeah.
And in this scene, first of all, amazing acting in this scene.
Absolutely. This is actually one of the best acted scenes I've ever seen in a film. It was like actually mind-blowing to watch. It felt like watching like Michael Jordan on the basketball court.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah,
I was like it felt like watching like the Super Bowl or like boxing.
It absolutely did. Like, this is just a masterclass in performance. It's something else.
Yeah,
it's the best scene in the movie.
I have like goosebumps. Like, could you imagine like being the PA in that room, like watching that right off camera? That would have been so crazy. But yeah, we learn more about Freddy in this processing too. We learn that he was in love with this woman named Doris. We learn he has like a really weird checkered past, like just a lot of like messed up things. His mother's in an insane asylum. His father is dead.
Yeah.
He has like, does he have any siblings? I don't
know if that came up, but we know that he was like, we found out that he was like abused as a child.
Yes.
Just very, but clearly this processing really affects Freddy. Like, this is kind of what makes him buy into the cult. So Freddy like officially joins the cause and continues with them on their travels along the East Coast. They're basically just like going around the East Coast, like promoting the cause. And at a dinner party in New York, a man straight out like accuses Dodd of running a cult, and Dodd like flips out. Like, he is incredibly charming and charismatic when he's around his followers, but anytime he's faced with like any sort of criticism, he collapses.
Yeah.
Like, I actually would argue he's like not that strong of a leader. He's just surrounded by sycophants.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, no, he like freaks out in the face of this criticism, and then Freddie like follows the man out and beats him up.
First of all, the man is calling out like totally like reasonable things to call out, because part of this cult is they believe like that they can find the cure for cancer, and they know all the secrets of the universe and all this like insane stuff because of their past lives.
Yeah, it's all just complete mumbo jumbo.
It's bullshit. And the man is like, okay, so if some poor soul with cancer comes to you, like, you're gonna tell them that you know the cure. And Lancaster Dodd, like, literally, he stumbles, he gets red in the face, he eventually like gets so defensive he calls the man a pig fuck.
Yeah.
And starts screaming, and then like Freddie goes and attacks him. But you're right, it's so obvious, like, when that mask of like that amazing leader that, and he's from this point, before that we only see him as this like smiling, very like presidential, almost like kissing babies and shaking hands kind of man, and everyone adores him. And then like the second someone calls him out, it is like the end of the world.
Yeah, no, he completely crumbles.
Yeah.
So Dodd is soon arrested for practicing medicine without qualifications. He calls himself a PhD. Apparently, he doesn't have a doctorate. Again, very similar to L. Ron Hubbard, who also called himself a PhD but never went to college. Or he either didn't go or was a dropout. But yeah. And Freddie attacks the police officers. And this is kind of becoming a pattern of anytime anyone like criticizes Dodd or goes after Dodd, Freddie is like his guard dog. Like, he will physically attack anyone who opposes Lancaster Dodd.
Well, it's so funny you say that, because right before the police show up, Lancaster Dodd's son Val, who is played by Jesse Plemons, is sitting out like on the porch, and Freddie comes out and kind of like very like a jerk, kind of is like, hey, you know, you should listen to your dad, you might learn something. And Val looks at me, he's like, it's bullshit. He's making it up.
Yeah.
And Freddie like kind of freaks out and starts attacking him. And then the cops show up. So it's so funny you say that, because it literally everyone.
Yeah. Like Freddie is taking his job as like Dodd's personal bodyguard, like incredibly seriously. It's not a good look for like the leader of a religious movement to have a guy who attacks anyone who opposes your views.
No, yeah.
Like, definitely not a good look. Freddie, because he attacks the police officers who are trying to arrest Dodd, also gets thrown in jail, which leads to a really great scene in their neighboring jail cells. Freddie, like, absolutely just loses it being cooped up in the cell.
Yeah.
And, like, he's smashing the toilet. He's, like, stomping around. He's, like, banging his body against the bars and the bed.
I actually read that was, like, improv. Like, him, like, breaking that toilet. I think he, like, didn't expect it was going to break or something.
But they're shooting on film. They got to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, just, like, such a great example of how they're just such pros.
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix. Like, the fact that they didn't miss a beat. And you can see in Philip Seymour Hoffman's face, he, like, looks at him like, oh, what a child. Like,
yeah. No, it's just, I don't know. I would have broke immediately and probably costed production like $1 billion because they're shooting on 35 millimeter.
I don't know how you do that. Like, as an actor, again, that's why I could never be an actor. Like, if I broke that toilet, I'd look right at camera and be like, uh-oh.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Freddie, like, starts yelling at Dodd, calling him a fake, like, saying not even your family believes in you. Dodd calls Freddie lazy and worthless and says that nobody likes him, which is true. Like, no one does like him.
Yeah. He says, he's like, I am the only one who likes you. I'm the only one who cares about you. And he's kind of right.
No, like, that was a totally accurate thing to say.
Yes, he's manipulating him, but like also he's 100% speaking the truth.
Yes, no one likes him.
No.
Upon release, they reconcile, But a lot of members of the cause have become very like suspicious and fearful of Freddie because he's just so unpredictable. Notably, Dodd's wife, who's played by Amy Adams,
who's amazing.
I feel like so much of the attention when people talk about this film goes to Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Amy Adams is pretty freaking incredible in this.
Yeah.
Like, she's like this Lady Macbeth.
Yeah, I said it earlier, but she does this whole like, I've been brainwashed by this cult. She's also like younger than Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah,
so it's
and
like
they mentioned too that he has like numerous ex-wives.
Yeah, so it's like so culty. Like, you take in the young wife who's like been brainwashed for a long time, and now she's in this position of power, but she's like also not. Like, she just plays that part so well.
Dodd like is adamant that Freddie's behavior can be corrected through like more brainwashing, essentially. So they start to like subject him to additional exercises.
I have to mention, there's a really great scene where the whole family is at dinner, minus Freddie because he's obviously not a member of their family. And basically their whole family says to Dodd, they're like, we don't like him. He's dangerous. He's not good for us. And he is still doing the cult leader thing to his own family.
Yeah. And everyone's just looking at him like he's insane and are like, no, this guy's like beyond help, dude. Like, this guy's really messed up.
I just found it so funny that like he literally doesn't turn it off even around his own wife and kids. He literally still does the charismatic, well, if we can't help him, it's us who's failed. And it's like, buddy, do you ever turn it off? Like,
I don't think so. I mean, we never see it happen.
no, only when he gets flustered. Yeah.
And then he just gets angry and like menacing.
Yeah. So Dodd is also writing his second book.
Yeah.
And Freddie accompanies him to Phoenix, Arizona, where they have this like big release party for it.
Yes. And I will say, like, I have in my notes that as this movie is going on, Dodd's like motivational speeches are just getting more and more nonsensical.
Yeah.
Like, at the beginning, it's kind of like, okay, like it's bullshit, but okay. And they're just getting like more and more unhinged and like detached from reality. Or at least,
Totally.
I don't even know if that was purposeful. That's just how I felt watching it.
I think it was purposeful because I thought the same thing too. Like, even when he writes his second book, one of his followers comes up and is like, I have a question. And she basically is like, if we say this, aren't we kind of contradicting ourselves? And he like freaks out and he's like, no, we say it because we have the ability to do this. And you realize he's just kind of like, he's really like making it up as he goes.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, this guy,
He's losing it a little bit.
a little bit. Yeah. They go out into the desert for this like little exercise that Dodd wants them to do. And Freddie is supposed to ride a motorcycle at a high speed through this desert towards an object in the distance and then come back. So he picks like a random mountain. And instead of coming back, he just goes.
Yeah, he just drives off.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny.
It was very funny. And Dodd is just like dumbfounded, just watching him ride off, realizing like, oh, he's not turning around.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. He's like, oh, he's going pretty far. And then he like screams his name, realizing that he's never going to turn around.
but the dawning realization on Philip Seymour Hoffman's face is just magic. Like,
Yeah.
my God, he's such a good actor.
Oh, he's the best. And Freddie, it's kind of a weird side plot. Basically, like, Freddie goes to the house of a girl he used to be in love with.
Yeah. And it was like he was planning on like returning to her after the war. And then he came out of war just so messed up from it that he didn't feel like he could go back to her.
Yeah.
And
then,
she's like moved on.
yeah, he goes back like 3 years later and she's married in a different city with children. And so it is kind of an awkward scene when he's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll leave now.
Yeah, but it's also like, what did you expect? Like, did you think that she was just going to like sit around and wait for you?
Yeah, I think he genuinely does. Like,
yeah, he
because
seemed to.
his reality is so different than everyone else's. Like, he literally thinks that, like, well, they're in love, so they're meant to be. So she'll wait as long as she can for him. Yeah, it's weird. Freddie's character, and I said this to you before when we were off camera, but I like this movie. It loses me a little bit. And I think it's because, like, I can never really figure out Freddie's character.
Yeah.
I can't figure out the kind of man he is. I can't really figure out what his goals are. if he has any goals, what he's looking to get out of like anything he does.
I think it's what I took from it. And I will say, this is watching it for the podcast was my second watch of this film. And the first time I watched it, I didn't connect with it very much. I acknowledged that it was, okay, it's visually beautiful. It's incredibly well acted. It's a very, very well made film by all merits.
100%.
Quite well written. But for some reason, it didn't grab me in the way that some of Paul Thomas Anderson's other films have. On second watch, I think I connected with it a lot more. I enjoyed it a lot more this time than I did the first time. Maybe it's just because I knew what to expect, that it is this kind of like weird, fragmented, we keep getting glimpses of moments with these people, but there's no like really linear plot with a 3-act structure.
Yeah, I think like that's my issue with it. Is my dumb brain sometimes can't handle movies that don't have like a typical narrative like structure. And so when I watch it, I'm kind of like, where are we going? What's happening now? But you can't deny that this movie is not incredibly well made.
Yeah, but my take on the characters is I feel like Lancaster saw kind of like unshaped clay when he saw Freddy. And then slowly realized that it's not unshaped clay. It's just like malformed clay, but it's formed.
Right. It's dry.
Like it is dry.
Yeah.
But it's just like misshapen. Yeah, I guess that's what I kind of took from it, is that it was the slow realization of like maybe he is beyond help or beyond whatever the cause can offer him.
Yeah, I think you're right, because you said this earlier when we were talking, but when he first meets him, Freddy is kind of like the perfect like cult victim.
Oh yeah, he's like the perfect mark.
Yeah, he's prime like material. And then I think you're right, like as he keeps going along, he realizes that like, oh, he's actually not susceptible to like this brainwashing. He actually like kind of the opposite. He's so set in his ways. Like he can't change no matter what happens.
But at the same time, he's so desperate for a father figure and for a leader.
Yeah.
And it's just this thing of he does really try to like apply himself to apply the teachings of the cause to how he conducts himself, but he does it in his way, which is physically attacking anyone who opposes them.
Yep.
Instead of in the way that Dodd would have preferred him to.
Yeah, it's again, the movie is really about the dynamic between these two men.
Yeah, and how it's always shifting slightly through all the scenes that we see them share. And the movie, I think it spans like over 2 or 3 years.
Yes, because they have this interaction. They stay with each other for, I could only assume, like a few months.
Yeah.
And then once Freddy leaves and they kind of depart for a little bit, we cut to years later. Freddy travels overseas and reunites with Dodd's, and Dodd invites him.
Yeah.
He says, like, if you ever find yourself, I'm in England, come visit me. And they now have this like weird diminished like version of the cause. It's kind of like a weird school.
Yeah, basically it's like clearly it wasn't catching on in America. Maybe it's gotten a little bit of traction in Europe.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the vibe that you get.
Yeah. Dodd welcomes Freddy very warmly. Peggy, who is played by Amy Adams, is there, and she kind of warns him that Freddy has no intention of changing. Freddy's not there because he believes in the cause. Freddy's we don't know why Freddy's there. Or at least she doesn't.
She has no idea. It really is because there is some sort of like weird connection between him and Dodd.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. And again, I'm not going to even try to attempt to explain what it means deep down because I don't know.
I don't know either.
But they do share some sort of intrinsic connection.
Dodd offers Freddy an ultimatum. Basically, commit to this life or never see me again.
Yeah.
And Freddy just walks right out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we see him later, kind of like the last bit we see of him is he's like having sex with this girl and starts like doing the processing questions to her. Which is like, does that show that even though he chose not to stay, maybe the teachings, whatever he learned there, remains within him? Is this him like striving to maybe one day rejoin? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I actually think this literally just hit me is like, maybe, and this is, I could totally be off the mark, but like, Freddy is a liar. He's a manipulator. He's a bad person at his core. And maybe this is like a way that he is now going to use to like manipulate people. Like he saw it as manipulation and now he's going to use those tricks in his own perverted way.
but did he ever see it as manipulation?
I don't know, Olivia. I don't know. I don't understand this movie very well. And it's okay to say that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really have an obvious message. It really just feels like you're a bit of a fly on the wall to like moments in these people's lives.
Yeah, totally.
You don't really come away with a message, but you definitely come away with a lot of questions.
Yes, yeah. This is a movie that I think on the first watch you don't really appreciate.
I definitely didn't.
I didn't either. This is my second time watching too. I think it's going to take me like maybe a few more watches to
That's
kind
fair.
of
I don't
dig
know.
my toes into it.
I really feel like I should see it again. Like I still feel like there's a lot that I am missing.
And I think that's a great thing with Paul Thomas Anderson is his movies are like a well. Like they just get deeper and deeper and deeper the further down you go.
Yeah, this is definitely, I would say, probably his most like philosophical film.
Yeah.
Even stuff like There Will Be Blood, which wrestles with like some pretty intense philosophical questions, has more of an arc.
Yeah, again, this movie doesn't follow like a typical narrative structure. And for that reason, it's not my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
That's fine. It's not my favorite either. But
Yeah.
I am glad we watched it though. Like it's an incredibly thought-provoking film, and it is very interesting to watch when you know a little bit about the life of L. Ron Hubbard and the practices of Scientology.
What would your final rating be?
8. I'd go 8. I'd say safely 8.
Yeah.
Closer to a 7 than a 9.
I originally wrote a 6 out of 10.
Really?
Again, I just didn't really like. I get frustrated with movies that I'm like, I don't understand.
I get it. I kind of like stuff like that because I feel like it's like a personal challenge.
Yeah, I like
It's
movies
like, oh,
that,
you think I don't understand you, but I do. I'm going to figure you
I
out.
got you, movie. But like, I like movies that leave, that are open to interpretation. And I like movies that leave you like talking at the end. But this movie was a little bit leaning towards like, I just don't get it. And that's a me thing. Like, I'm sure a ton of people watch this movie and they get it immediately, or they understand.
I
like,
don't think so. I'm not going to lie. I'd be very surprised if someone watched this movie and immediately got it.
You're making me feel a lot better about myself, so thank you. But I think I'm going to do like a 6.5 out of 10 just
Okay.
because like you really,
It's
again,
so well made.
again, you can't argue that this is a bad movie.
Even if I didn't quite understand what the point was by the end, I was so intrigued by the characters that like I never wanted to stop watching it.
Yeah, I would say this movie is great for people who want like a masterclass in acting.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
Out of everything else, but you're right. You literally took the words out of my mouth. Like, this is just such a well-made movie. Is it a movie for me? Not necessarily, but who knows? Maybe by my third watch, I'll really love it.
Yeah, it is really interesting to note before we move on that Joaquin Phoenix was actually raised in the Children of God commune.
Yes, I totally forgot about that until you just said it now. He's raised in a cult.
Yeah, so like he gave everything to this role. Like he really went for it, and I wouldn't be shocked if it's like it was a personal thing for him.
I mean, I'd have to assume there has to be some sort of personal connection, even if it's not like why he chose this role in whatever. You can't argue that you, in your performance, you don't have a little bit of yourself seeking out.
Oh, of course. But I don't know. I actually didn't know that until I did some research for this ahead of filming today.
That's funny. I did know that, but I totally forgot. And I didn't even put it together when I was watching the movie.
Yeah, very interesting.
Crazy.
Very Elizabeth Moss, Handmaid's Tale.
Yes. Oh, that's a
That's a
rabbit hole we won't go down today.
Oh man, we could talk about that for a long time.
I'm a huge fan of this next movie.
Oh, me too. This is probably one of my favorite horror movies ever.
Yes, this is Ari Aster's 2019 horror film, Midsommar.
Midsommar.
Yes.
We had a debate before this about how to pronounce it.
Sometimes I say midsummer, and then sometimes I'm like, do I sound stupid when I say that?
I feel like either way, someone's going to tell you it's wrong.
I'm going to say Midsommar.
I'm going to say Midsommar too.
Okay.
Because I want to align myself with you.
Thank you. This is also another writer-director combo. He wrote this movie and directed it.
This was his second feature, I want to say, after Hereditary.
Which is my favorite film of his.
Really?
Yeah.
I so prefer Midsommar.
Really?
Midsommar.
Wow, you already messed up.
Oh, this is going to be a long day.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I really love both.
I love Hereditary. Like it's a great movie. Midsommar, though, watching Midsommar in a packed theater is one of the best theater going experiences I've ever had.
Yeah, I also saw it in a packed theater, and everyone had just such visceral reactions.
Yeah. And it's like, I love that it evoked that.
Totally.
And it really, really does. And yeah, no, I don't know. Midsommar, I actually really think that everything he did well in Hereditary, he refined and made better, even better for this one.
I think I like Hereditary a little bit more. I totally agree with what you're saying. I think I like it a little bit more just because it's a little bit more of a classic scary movie.
Yes.
Whereas I'm a horror girl at heart.
That's fair. So it's a little more traditional.
Totally.
Midsommar has one of my favorite opening scenes of all time.
Yeah.
It is so effective. It is so atmospheric. It sets up all of the characters, the plot, and the tone perfectly.
Yeah. It's I love in horror movies when they have this like little prequel thing.
Yes.
And then they go to the title card. And I think Midsommar is like a really, really, really great example of how to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when the title card comes up, it's like, yes.
You literally like, oh shit, the movie's starting. Like, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So we open on Danny Arter. She is a graduate student, and when we first meet her, she's like very anxiously trying to get in touch with her family. Her sister, who is bipolar, has sent her like this very concerning email.
It was like, I can't do this. Everything's black. Mom
Yes.
and dad will be with me.
Yes.
And it's like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
But also it's like, you kind of fear you know what it means.
Exactly. But Danny is absolutely freaking out. She's trying frantically to get in touch with her sister, her parents. She ends up calling her boyfriend, just like needing some kind of emotional support. And her boyfriend, Christian, who's played by Jack Rayner. Oh, and also Danny's played by Florence Pugh, who's amazing in this.
I love Florence Pugh and I love her in this. And fun fact, she shot this and then like only a very, very short time later shot Little Women.
That is
like,
crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. And I think it just like is a nice fact to know to show how great of an actress she is.
Yeah, like the range is wild.
Yeah.
So she calls her boyfriend just like needing some sort of emotional support. And he is basically like, you're enabling this kind of behavior. Like, she always does this. She's always like sending you weird things and freaking you out. And like, you need to stop responding to her and like buying into it.
It's also important to note that when she calls him, he's with his friends, like contemplating dumping her.
Yeah. He is not happy in this relationship.
Yeah. And Christian is just the worst. We'll see that throughout the movie, but he's the worst.
He's not like an evil guy. He's just like a really bad boyfriend.
He's just like a dick.
Yeah. He's
literally
just kind of a dick.
Yeah.
So she hangs up with Christian and immediately gets a call from an unknown number where she learns that her sister has killed their parents and herself via carbon monoxide poisoning in like a murder-suicide. And we see like this incredible like slow-mo tracking shot through Danny's childhood home and like see the bodies of like her parents and her sister. And
Horrifying.
Then it just cuts to Danny absolutely wailing as Christian is like holding her and looking so terrified of dealing with this.
Yeah, it's a great, first of all, I wrote most horrific way to die taking your own life. Yeah. I mean, the parents are just laying in their bed, but Danny's sister has like taped the hose to her mouth. It is an Like
it's like
it gives me
really
goosebumps.
gruesome. Yeah, it's such a strong visual too.
Yeah.
Like it's haunting.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And then you're so right. Like Danny is obviously in hysterics, and Christian's face is, this actor is so underrated because
Like put Jack Rayner in more stuff.
he
He's
is
awesome.
perfect in this role. And it's so great because you can see he's not sad for Danny or like, oh my God, this is such a heavy situation. He's now like, fuck, I can't break up with her.
Exactly.
That's exactly what he's thinking. You can read it on his face. And then we cut to the title card.
Yes. And it's like, what a freaking opening.
Yeah.
Like it just sets everything up so perfectly.
And so quickly too.
It's only like, I want to say 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you immediately get a sense of who the characters are, their dynamics, what's going to happen, like the tone. I don't know. It just does such a great job.
Yeah. So several months go by. Danny is obviously still very affected by the loss of her family. Her and Christian they're still together, but their relationship is like basically dead. I mean, it is so uncomfortable watching those two together.
Christian is very much like with her out of obligation.
Totally.
And she is clinging to kind of the one support beam that she has left in her life.
Yeah.
Like the one consistent thing.
Yeah, it seems like she doesn't really have too many friends. We don't really ever see friends outside. And yeah, Christian is her lifeline, really.
Yeah, he is what, like, kind of the only thing keeping her stable, which is understandable after losing your entire family in such a horrible way.
But it also sucks because Christian is the worst. So
Yeah.
like, if you're gonna have a lifeline, like I would hate that. She also learns that Christian and his friends are going to Sweden. One of their friends, Pele, is from this commune in Sweden, and he's invited them to come for this Midsommar festival.
Yes. Christian ends up inviting Danny to go with them after they get into an argument where she's like, hey, you never told me you were going to Sweden for like 6 weeks and you're leaving in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable. They're like at a party and
Yeah.
someone brings it up to them like, oh, you guys are going to Sweden. And she's like, oh, I didn't know that. And then he tries to like gaslight her and he's like, no, I told you I was going. And then he's like, well, I don't know if I'm going yet. And she's like, you bought a ticket. You're leaving in 2 weeks. What do you mean you don't know if you're going?
Yeah.
And it's just so fucked up because then he spins it on her and he's like, whatever, fine, I won't go. She's like, no, I'm sorry. Like, this is like gaslighting 101 to the finest.
It's so infuriating to watch.
It's awful. You just feel so bad for Danny this whole time.
Yeah, and how she feels like she has to like bend herself into pretzels to like keep this guy around.
It's also so awkward because when she is invited, she says yes, and you can tell the friends don't want her to go.
Yeah, this was meant to be like a boys' trip. And also like kind of shitty of Christian to do to his friends. Like,
no, totally.
They had been planning this trip, and then 2 weeks before they leave, it's like, oh, can my girlfriend come? Like, no.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, and you can tell Danny knows that she's not really wanted there.
Yes.
But like, it's better than being alone for 6 weeks.
Yeah, and Christian's friends kind of put up this facade of niceness around her, but like it's so clear that they don't want her around, and like you can sense that she senses that. So yeah, the whole group travels to Harga, which is this very idyllic commune in kind of nowheresville in Sweden.
Yeah.
At the commune, they meet Simon and Connie, who are a British couple who were invited by Pele's commune brother. So it's like, okay, Pele brought a group of outsiders. This other guy brought outsiders to all witness this Midsommar festival.
Yeah, I feel like it's important really quick to kind of go over who our key players will be. So
Yes.
There's Danny, who's our main character, Christian, who's her boyfriend. There's Pele, who is from the commune and has invited them. There's Mark, who is played by Will Poulter, who is like, he's just kind of like this douchey.
Yeah, Will Poulter walks into this like genuinely stunning like farming commune, and he's just like blowing vape smoke in their faces.
Yeah.
Like he has no respect for their culture
Yeah.
or really anyone around him.
No, he's just a douche.
Yeah, but Will Poulter is very consistently funny.
Yes.
And Mark's commentary throughout the film is always just like, it provides a little giggle when needed sometimes.
Totally. And then the final friend in this group is Josh. He's played by William Jackson Harper, and he is kind of the reason why they're going. doing.
Yes.
He is like studying anthropology, getting his PhD, and he's doing his thesis on Midsommar festivals. So that is like kind of why this trip was initiated.
Yes.
Yeah. So the group, while like on their little journey at the commune, they decide to take psychedelic mushrooms. I have never taken mushrooms.
And you know what? Me neither. And this movie makes me never want to.
No, and I know people who have taken mushrooms, and they say that this is like very accurate to how being on drugs like that feel.
That is all I've heard about this movie,
Yeah.
is that this is like the most accurate depiction of taking a hallucinogenic. And I have a deep fear of hallucinogenics.
Me too. Me too.
I have such a deep fear of hallucinogenics, and like I don't know. I don't want to see shit that's not there. Like I like to see what's there.
I don't want grass growing out of my hands.
No, and I don't understand why you do.
No.
Like
I know if I ever did hallucinogenics, I would have a bad trip because I would freak myself into one so bad.
oh my God, one of my friends once told me, he was like, no, like you just need to like be in a good headspace when you take it. And it's like, I don't think I've ever been in a good headspace once in my entire life.
I don't exist in a good headspace.
No.
Sober. So why would you think on drugs I would be?
Yeah, no, literally, right?
It's so scary. And
But
so
yeah, Danny has like a really bad trip and starts hallucinating like about her dead family. So it's kind of here that you really start to notice the division between Danny and the rest of the group that she's with. They are very much like a solid, like an in tandem unit, and she is the plus one. Like they don't want her there.
No,
and
not at all.
She goes off alone anytime she has like either a panic attack or at this point, I mean, she's having a bad trip and is like hallucinating horrible things, but she's like also having a panic attack.
Yeah.
And how she never turns to anyone around her for support ever when she freaks out. She always goes off by herself.
She isolates herself because her awful boyfriend, she feels like a burden to him.
Yeah. And she is a burden. Like he also thinks she's a burden.
Yeah, he makes her feel that way.
Yeah.
So like anytime she's upset in this movie, he half-assed like tried to comfort her.
Yeah.
But it never works. And so yeah, you're right. She purposefully like will isolate herself, and she is alone for a lot of this movie.
And that happens quite a few times where she is having an emotional moment or like a scared moment, and she always goes off by herself to handle that alone.
So they show up to the commune. It's full of people in little flowy dresses, and it's like traditional, and it's great and all this stuff.
Yeah, it's like very beautiful. Everyone's in white, all these little kind of misshapen houses. Like the production design of this movie is like pretty astounding. It's really great.
Yeah, I would want to live there. I'm not going to lie.
Same. It's gorgeous.
Gorgeous, yeah. Also important to note, this movie is set all during the daytime. So the day after their arrival, they witness this ceremony, which they are very like in the dark about what it is, the whole buildup. And this ceremony includes two elders taking their own lives by jumping off of this very high cliff onto the rocks below. And it is insanely graphic.
Yes. The movie really kind of lulls you into this sense of security, and I don't know, like something's a little off about the commune. Like you're curious to see what's going to happen. But the way that they decide to show this scene, they shy away from none of the violence. Like you are watching bones crushed.
Oh, you are watching faces crumble to dust.
Yeah, in this bright sunlight where like another kind of horror movie would have hidden some of the violence with darkness, as so many horror movies do. What makes the scene so arresting is that it's so brightly lit, and you are not allowed to shy away from the brutality of it.
No.
It's really hard to watch. One of the elders who jumps off the cliff survives the fall, and
It's painful.
it's so hard to watch. And then a guy walks up to him with a mallet and smashes his head open.
And they showed it in a close-up.
Yeah.
They literally, like, you cannot get away from the gore in this movie. They show multiple. And when I say multiple, I mean, like, it comes up multiple times in the movie.
Yeah, like Danny thinks about it again later, and
Yes.
you have to see it again.
Yes, I literally wrote, stop showing it to me. It's so bad. And they show it in so many insanely brutal close-ups.
Yeah.
It's just like every time you think you're safe from it, you're like, oh, there it is again.
No, literally.
Yeah. One of the elders tries to calm down Danny and Christian. Also, Simon and Connie are there, and they are really not reacting well. I mean, the others are obviously in shock, but Simon and Connie are like freaking out, screaming, hysterics.
One of the elders like tries to calm all of them down and explains to them that every member of the commune commits suicide essentially at the age of 72, and it's considered a great honor.
Yeah, it's something like they believe that like life ends at 72.
And like, why would you stay alive just to like get sick and have your body waste away when you can like live a full healthy life and then decide the moment that it ends?
Yeah. And then like basically like the children that are born will like take the name of the people who died, and like it's kind of like this like rebirth cycle. Kind of.
Exactly.
And yeah, they're not really having any of it.
No, I mean, after witnessing that, to be fair, I mean, we as viewers are in the same place as them. We just had to witness this horrible thing.
Yeah, Danny is obviously super disturbed by this. She kind of like, once again, like isolates herself. She goes into their like camp communal bedroom kind of thing where everyone sleeps. And she initially goes to leave. She's packing her stuff, and Pele comes in and convinces her to stay. He tries calming her down. He also explains that he is an orphan himself. His parents died in a fire, and that the commune is kind of like what saved him from that feeling. And they became his family. And he was like, I have that support system. You don't. And this is where you really see like the cult manipulation.
Yes. And also that Pele has a fat ass crush on Danny.
Oh, yeah.
He's like really into her.
He's holding her hands, and she even's like, she's like, Christian could come in at any moment. And he's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's making moves on her. He fully starts asking her like, does Christian make you happy? And it's like, ooh, you jerk. And come on, that's like, your friend.
And also like, no, he doesn't. So,
yeah.
But yeah, you can see the brainwashing start to take in. I mean, we were talking about how Freddie is a good like prime material for inducting into a cult.
I mean, so is Danny.
Danny's
after like experiencing the trauma of the loss of her entire family, she is literally without family. Like,
yeah. And it's just Pele being like, I lost my parents. I know how you feel, but the commune really saved me. I know you're feeling so alone, and I felt so alone too, but I have my family. This is my family around me. It's like, oh, it makes your skin crawl because you're like, oh my God, you know what like they're trying to set up. And it works. I mean, Danny does stay.
So one by one, the foreigners start to disappear under increasingly strange circumstances.
Yeah. First Simon's gone, then Connie's right afterwards, and then Mark goes off with a girl.
Yeah, some random girl just like kind of gestures to Mark to come with her, and he's had a thing for her this whole time.
Yes. Also, such a quick note that I have to throw in, but like Christian goes to Josh and is like, "Oh, I think I'm going to do my thesis on Midsommar too." And you're like, and Josh like very understandably is like, are you kidding me, dude?
Like, I've been working towards this for like 2 years, and like you just got here, and all of a sudden you're taking my thesis idea.
Yeah.
Like,
and Christian again starts like gaslighting his friend. He's like, well, I told you I was interested in doing this, and he's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. And like, what's the actor's name who plays Christian?
Jack Rayner.
Jack Rayner does such a good job just showing like what a leech Christian is. Like, he literally is like, well, I'm going to do it, and if you want to collaborate, then I guess that's fine. And it's like, oh, you just want to like punch him in the face.
No, literally. And this guy was pretty close to punching him in the face. Like, Josh comes pretty close.
Yes. And then we kind of start to see more of the sinister parts of this commune. Josh goes in. It's not really important, but like he goes in to like look at some artifact from the commune.
And he starts like taking photos, which he was instructed not to do. And someone comes up behind him and bashes his head in with a mallet.
Well, he also thinks he sees Mark in the doorway. And
you realize it's not Mark. It is someone wearing Mark's face.
Yes, that is such a terrifying visual.
It is. And it's also just like, wait, what? Like,
yeah.
Because everything that we've seen of we see little like hints of darkness, but it's all very idyllic and beautiful and sunny and green.
Yes.
And so these kind of moments of violence are so shocking when contrasted with how beautiful everything else is.
It's also, before this, we don't really see any, grotesque gore, anything like that, that's not done in the name of like the religion. Like, we only see these people fall off the cliff, and it's because they believe that it's like them going to this afterlife, them ending their life, whatever. So us seeing them, like, especially something as horrifying as wearing someone else's skin, we're like, whoa, where are we right now?
Yeah.
And so this is where, like, I think the horror really goes up a notch.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So kind of while people are disappearing, Danny is like slowly drawn a little deeper into the community of Harga, really by Pele, who provides like genuine emotional support to her when Christian doesn't. And also really interestingly, and I only noticed this on this watch, and I've seen this probably 3 or 4 times, Danny is the only one of the foreigners that's invited to like help with the work in the commune. She's the only one. Everyone, like, they don't ask anyone else to like help cooking or help with the gardening. And almost immediately they start like inviting Danny to help the women cook and like really getting her involved with the day-to-day life of the commune.
Yeah, she's invited. She's really like taken in by them. And this is really important because as this is happening, Christian has caught this one girl, Maya's eyes in the commune. And while Danny is kind of getting pulled further into this family and being more accepted into this commune, Christian is separating even more from her and kind of lusting after this girl Maya, who is kind of giving him bedroom eyes whenever she can.
Constantly.
She's trying to put a little love spell on him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is some freaky shit right there.
But so Danny and Christian are pressured into drinking hallucinogenic tea before like this maypole ceremony. It's a maypole dance, but it's like a ceremonial thing for Midsommar. And Danny wins it and is crowned the May Queen.
Yes, she is.
As Danny is being celebrated as the May Queen, Christian is coerced into a sex ritual to impregnate Maya, who's the girl who has been into him literally since he got there. And while him and Maya are doing the deed, they're surrounded by the female elders of the commune who are all naked and all trying to support Maya by mimicking her noises.
Yeah, they're like harmonizing with her moans. It's very funny.
It's hilarious. And this was just a blast to watch in theaters. This was so fantastic.
I could so imagine the group just being like, what are we doing over here?
In the theater that I was in, someone who was like way in front of us just goes, "What?" We lost it. We absolutely lost it.
Yeah, I'm happy I didn't like see this movie with my parents. They would have probably walked out.
Yeah.
So while this sex ritual is happening, Danny accidentally witnesses Christian cheating on her.
Yes.
And she has a full-on panic attack, which, like, I mean, that was the last thing she was holding on to. So that betrayal is just like, I mean, that was the last brink of sanity she had.
Yeah, that it was kind of the last straw for her. And this whole time, like, she's feeling like a burden. She feels like unwanted by him. And then to actually have those fears confirmed is like brutal. Like, her reaction is just, this breaks her.
And also, this is the last thing that connects her to the outside world, I realize.
Yes.
Like, Christian is the last thing from her old life that she had left, and now that is gone. The women in the commune surround her and mimic her cries of despair. And it's this very, like, I don't even know how to describe, like, how you feel watching that scene, because part of it is so, like, strange, and it kind of makes you almost want to laugh, but then part of it is, like, so upsetting because Florence Pugh is, like, wailing in sorrow.
Yeah, but I think I mean, what I found interesting about that scene is the contrast between she always has had to go off alone to like cry or have a panic attack. And we see her do it like 3 or 4 times, like leave who she's with to be alone and freak out about something. And in this case, she tries to do that. She tries to go off alone. And the commune literally doesn't allow her to. They're saying, we're here supporting you.
Yeah.
Even if you try to get away.
I mean, they're crying with her.
Exactly.
They feel her pain.
And after kind of being told over and over again by Christian that like it's not real or like you're overreacting and things, like imagine how comforting that must be to be surrounded by people who not only are affirming how you feel, but they want to experience it with you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And so after the ritual, Christian like kind of freaks out in the middle of it, which is fair. It's like super weird.
Yeah.
And
I love how he just discovers it, like how absurd this all is after.
yeah, like it's really like it ends and he's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Like, so he is like naked and just runs out of this like temple that they're in. And he's like just kind of running around the commune trying to like get some sort of bearings again. Also, everyone's high on shrooms.
I was just going to say,
time.
he's also still tripping out and he's been having a bad trip like since he took the tea.
Yes. And so as he's just kind of running around like trying to get his bearings, he discovers Josh's severed leg like planted in a flower bed. He finds Simon, who's like just barely alive, like flayed, really.
This is, I think, like my 3rd time watching this. This was the time I didn't realize, like the times before, I didn't know that he was still alive. And then time you could see the oxygen like going in his lungs. And I was like, oh my God, he's still alive. It like I actually like had a physical reaction.
Yeah. No,
I jumped off the couch.
It's pretty gruesome. And then an elder like blows this powder in Christian's face and paralyzes him. When Christian wakes up, it is to the final ceremony of the Midsommar festival. And the commune leaders explain that the commune must offer 9 human sacrifices to purge itself of evil. And they do the ceremony every 90 years. And it's like to ensure peace and prosperity for the following 90 years. The first 4 victims are the outsiders. They're Mark, Josh, Simon, and Connie. And then the next 4 sacrifices will be from within the commune, 2 of which have already happened, the elders who jumped off the cliff, and then 2 are volunteers.
And then the last one is picked by the May Queen.
Which is Danny.
Yes.
Yes. So Danny is given the option to choose between a randomly selected commune member
Tough luck.
or Christian.
Yeah.
Danny, having just witnessed Christian's betrayal, chooses Christian.
Yeah, that is, first of all, Christian is like right there. And again, he can't speak, he can't move, he can't do
completely
anything.
paralyzed.
And he is staring at Danny. And again, like you can see in his face the terror, because I think he knew that she was going to be chosen.
I think he knew too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Christian is placed in the like skin of a bear. I will say he does look so cute and cuddly. Like,
really?
Yes, I love bears.
I do too.
I love bears, and it actually like the most upsetting thing to me about this movie is that they like killed an innocent bear.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you are rooting for Christian's downfall in this movie.
Yeah,
so
like
when he is chosen, you are like, yeah, honestly, kind of deserved.
Yeah, the whole time it's like I was kind of waiting for you to die and hoping it wouldn't be pretty.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Honestly, no, like he's not even like that evil of a guy. He's just
not
a dick. But he's a dick that like you recognize. Like we've all met this guy.
We all know a Christian. Yeah, and it's so awful because again, it's like that victim mentality that he has too, where he's like, well, I'm not doing anything wrong. And like it's the gaslighting. You're just like, especially like as women, like we know so many men like that, and you're just like, oh my God, like you're the problem. And you don't even see it.
Yes.
It's so infuriating.
Oh, so yeah, Christian and all the other victims, some of whom are dead and like their bodies are like decorated in fun ways.
Can I just say before you go on,
Yeah.
those dead bodies are horrifying.
Yeah, they are.
They are so scary, like to a point where it like genuinely disturbed me to look
Really?
at them. Yes, like I don't know, something about like like one is like stuffed like a scarecrow. The other one is like
They
has
cut off
flowers.
his arms and like they cut off one of their arms, put like tree branches there.
Yes.
Like they make them look all pretty.
And it's like so creepy in a culty kind of way.
Yes.
Where it's like based in like religion and like all this stuff. It literally made my skin crawl.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. They're very strong visuals.
Yeah, so there's the dead sacrifices, and then there are the two volunteers. I have to say really quick, they give them this like pill or something on their tongue.
Yeah, they give them some sort of like something that'll make it painless for them.
I don't think it worked.
I don't think it worked either. I think they only did that so that they wouldn't freak out.
Yeah.
It was definitely like something that they did so that these guys wouldn't like flip out.
I literally wrote, seems like they're feeling some pain.
Yeah. So they put all the sacrifices, both those that have died and those that are still alive.
And Christian's right in the middle too.
Yes. In this like little temple. And then they set it on fire.
And everyone watches.
And everyone watches the temple burn. As the flames consume the building, we cut to like a close on Danny's face, and we see her go from like devastation to joy as the building like collapses.
Yeah, it's
Like,
super unsettling.
It's so eerie. Like she just kind of breaks out into this smile. And I will say, like, a part of me gets it. Like the same way that this is a purging ceremony. Like purging all the kind of bad in your life. And that's very much what this is for her. Like this is her letting go of her past life and cutting that final tie.
Yeah, to me, that final smile she gives is like that last snap on the string of sanity that was left in her brain. And not in the way where she's like now going to be like incoherent psycho woman, but in just in the way, like you said, like she has lost everything in her old life, and logic would tell you this is a dangerous place and like these people are crazy and I need to leave regardless of what is waiting for you in the outside world.
Yeah.
That's what, you know, your fight or flight would tell you. But just her smile at the end with like her content, it's the same smile as all these people have had in the cult. The entire, like I was saying to Olivia earlier that like this movie is so scary because the people in the cult, usually in cult movies, I feel like they have this like ulterior evil motive and they put on this like happy front, but it's not real.
But they're more menacing.
Yes, but in Midsommar, the people are so genuine.
Yeah.
That's what's scary. Like when they are doing these like evil things, they look so content and they don't look sinister at all. And it's freaky because you're like, oh no, they actually like really think what they're doing is like a good thing and they think that they're just in doing it. And so Danny doing that at the end, like that was the vibe it gave me. Was it like she doesn't even see it as a bad thing anymore,
Like
and
she's
all
one
that,
of them now.
all that logic has left her brain.
And I feel like with these kinds of movies that have setups like Midsommar, you're waiting and waiting for like, okay, what's going to happen that like she's going to be able to get away? Like what circumstances are going to align magically
You're
for
waiting
her
for
to
her.
escape?
You're waiting for her to be like a final girl.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And then as it goes on and you start to realize like, oh, like that's not what this story is. Like this is the story of her indoctrination. I love that. Like I like that it's something different. I like that it gives us a main character that like we don't necessarily have to root for, but we get to enjoy watching.
Yeah. Again, it makes it scarier for me that she isn't like, oh no, I need to get out of here, and that the logic doesn't take over, because that's something that I think in horror movies, when we watch the main character, we hope that they do things that we do. That's why it's so frustrating when like instead of running out the door, they run up the stairs. You're like, I would never do that.
Yes.
So it's scary when you watch Danny and you're like, oh my God, when is she going to get away? When is she going to outsmart them and get in the car and drive away? And that'll be the final shot.
For that.
And then it never happens. So final rating for this?
I'd go like 8.5 probably.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it an 8.
Valid.
Yeah.
Yeah. 8.5.
It's just a solid horror movie.
It's really one of my favorites. Like, I don't know. Horror is such a difficult genre to be a lover of because
True.
you really have to sift through a lot of shit to like get to the gold. Mm-hmm. But when it's done well and in such an artful way, like Midsommar, there's really just nothing like it. Like
Yep.
there are so many possibilities in horror, and yeah, no, this is like an all-time favorite scary movie for me.
Same. I wish I could say that about this next movie.
So we watched this movie in conjunction with Midsommar purposefully.
Yes, basically Olivia texted me like a few weeks before we were supposed to film this episode and was like, I just watched this movie.
Yeah.
We have to talk about it for our cults episode.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So yeah, we watched Opus, which came out this year, 2025. It stars Ayo Edebiri in the lead role, and it is written and directed by Mark Anthony Green.
This is his
This is his debut feature.
Yeah.
Opus is like if you took the ingredients of Midsommar and maybe a movie like The Menu, and then just kind of like used those ingredients but didn't add any seasoning.
Yeah, you said it best earlier. You were like, it felt like they were just checking off boxes.
The whole movie feels like it's just checking off boxes. It's, almost exactly what's going to happen in every scene. It's kind of just going through the motions.
Yeah, it's a very confused movie.
Yes.
I feel like there's not a lot of substance there. I feel like things are done just to do them because it's expected or because they think it's going to be super outrageous. The characters are so whatever in this movie. They're nothing.
Are they even characters is the question.
They're
like,
not.
I couldn't really... It's like every one of the kind of major characters has an adjective, and like that's who they are.
Yep.
And there really are not. There's nothing deeper going on beyond whatever adjective they've been assigned.
This movie opens with Ariel Ecton. That is Ayo Edebiri's character.
Yes.
She's a young journalist, and she receives an invitation to this private listening party at this compound in Utah. And it is hosted by Alfred Moretti, played by John Malkovich.
Yes.
And he is this like legendary pop star who
Wait, I'm so sorry, Maggie.
Go ahead.
Can we just like say that again so it sinks in for the audience? That John Malkovich is playing like the prince of this universe. Like he is like a Prince Michael Jackson, like legendary pop singer.
It is the most interesting casting choice I've ever seen, but also I think it is the one thing that saves this movie from being House of Gucci levels of bad.
Absolutely. John Malkovich carries this movie on his back. I saw a review that said that your enjoyment of this movie rests on whether you buy John Malkovich as like a legendary pop singer. And I honestly don't see how you couldn't. He's this movie's saving grace.
I just think he's so funny, and like I think you said it best where you were like, this movie just like lets him be as like outrageous as he wants.
Yeah.
And again, it's like really the only thing that like makes this movie like, I hate to say watchable because it's not like it was that bad, but it's just like it would have been so nothing if it wasn't him.
Yes. He just kind of makes a meal out of it.
Yeah. So Moretti has disappeared from the public for like 30 years. And now he is making this big comeback. And it is like the talk of the town. Like Moretti's back, Moretti's back, Moretti's back. And Ariel and her boss have been invited to go to this compound. So they go together. Ariel, we don't really learn that much about her.
No. Her adjective is ambitious.
Ambitious journalist.
Ambitious journalist. Yeah, we know literally nothing else about her other than the fact that she's ambitious and that she's a journalist. And you also have to know that it's weird that she's invited. Like she's like this kind of nobody, like junior journalist. She's like in her early 20s.
Yeah, she's like an intern at this place.
Or like the one step above an intern.
Yeah.
Like it's super weird that she's invited to this like crazy exclusive event that only like 8 people in the world have been invited to. And she's like, how do they even like know who I am to invite me. And even her boss is like, why did they invite you?
Yeah, there's one scene where we get like a little bit on Ariel's character, which is that she's an ambitious journalist. And this is where I wrote in my notes, I was like, yeah, I don't really know how I feel about this writing / directing.
Yeah, it's a lot of tell, don't show.
So we go to the compound. Among those who are invited are Ariel's boss, Stan, this talk show host named Clara, who's played by Juliette Lewis in the most underutilized role of her life.
How do you get Juliette Lewis and then just like refuse to use her in the movie? Like she's in like 5 scenes and kind of just doesn't do anything.
Does nothing. Yeah, when I saw it was her, I like was waiting for her character to like have a big moment. It never came.
Yeah, I feel like they probably cut it. Like there's no way she would have like signed on to the script.
You never know.
Who knows?
Also included is a up and coming influencer named Emily, a paparazzi named Bianca, and a radio shock jock named Bill.
Yeah, so it's all kind of like media personalities who have been invited to this compound. Upon arrival, it becomes immediately apparent that it's a cult.
Yeah, like from the get-go.
Yeah, even like the journalists like talking amongst themselves are like, this is a cult, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they call themselves levelists, and they all like wear identical clothing, and they all kind of like worship Moretti. Like it's very much a cult of his personality.
It's very strange. Also, just because we brought up how good the pre-title card scene was in Midsommar, this one is so like we get just the very, very, very basic of a setup. And then like right before they get to the commune, we get the title card. And I literally wrote, I was like, that was a weird cut to the title card.
Yeah.
It does like, it literally does like everything that Midsommar does, but like
worse.
It doesn't do it right. It doesn't understand why it did it.
Yes. So Moretti like hosts this big dinner. He gives this speech. He's like charming all of the guests, like who are all like registering that this is weird, but they're so excited to be there because like this is the biggest pop star in the world.
Right.
Who's been in hiding for 30 years. Like,
right. There's nothing to give them like red flags yet. Yes, it's weird, but also like there's celebrities today who do stuff like that.
Yeah, famous people are weird.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah. Moretti is very quickly winning over the guests that he's brought. However, Ariel is suspicious and kind of starts to investigate the members of this cult without, as opposed to like looking into Moretti and the album and kind of the reason why they were invited.
And it's kind of like, while all the other journalists are sucking up to Moretti and like just like kissing his ass and like telling him how amazing he is, she's like talking to the cult members and like kind of trying to find out what this all is. I mean, it's just there's so little characterization to the characters. Like, we don't know anything about Ariel's relationship to Moretti's music.
Nope.
We don't know, like, is she excited to go? Does she not like Moretti and is, like, not impressed by him? Like, we have no context for what she might be feeling in any scene. So it's kind of just like she does things and we go along with it, but we never really know why.
Yeah, if anything, we learn more about the other characters' connection to Moretti. Basically, we kind of learn, like, that they have all had like past gripes with Moretti, like very small, petty, like
one of them like gave him a bad album review in the past or something.
Yeah, very small things like that. And so it makes no sense why our main character, we know nothing about her connection to this.
Yes.
And again, it makes you question like, okay, well, why isn't she questioning Moretti about the music? Why is she only interested in the cult?
Exactly. And she actually says in a scene at the beginning that like what she wants to do with her career is to like get famous by profiling celebrities. Like that is what she wants to do with her career. So it is like kind of, that was strange to include.
And then not happen.
And then like she gets there and is seemingly kind of uninterested in talking to Moretti. Like it was just like a strange, I don't know, like you never really know what her motivations are or what she's feeling.
Yeah. So on the first night, the radio shock jock Bill is getting a massage and he is attacked by the levelists and stabbed. And we don't really see this. I'm not gonna lie, when I first started happening, I was like, what's going on? They show it all off camera, but we know something bad has happened.
Yeah, and again, it's not shocking. It feels very obligatory as opposed to the first scene of violence that we see in Midsommar, which is so jarring and shocking and like shakes you to your core. It just feels like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the part where they kill one of them.
It's so funny. I'm just looking at my notes while you're saying that. And the note that my eyes went to immediately was, I don't know, the movie's weird, but they're not building up to anything.
Yeah.
Like they literally just got there in the first night and there's this murder for like, there's no tension. There's no build up. There's none. Yeah, it's not fun. So the following day, Ariel discusses ideology with Moretti, and he shows her this tradition that the Levelists have where they shuck oysters to find pearls to make a necklace. They all wear these like pearl necklaces.
Yeah, and I guess it's supposedly like about discipline, about like you have to go through so many oysters to find one that has a pearl. But again, it's like it is kind of unclear like what the significance of this is to the cult.
To me, it was like, oh, yes, it might be wasteful to like kill so many oysters just to find like a few pearls and this many, but like it's worth it. So I don't know. I don't really know what message, because it doesn't really add to the message of the film, but that was like the ideology that I thought they were trying to tell us.
That's fair.
It's definitely strange. The Levelists give all the guests a makeover, which was such a weird scene in my opinion.
It was weird. I will say this is the only scene that I like thought was effectively weird. Like I thought it was weird in an effective way. It like and then again, it amounted to nothing. It ended up amounting to nothing. But I was so curious like what was going to happen. Basically, all of the guests have to trim their pubic hair, and like this lady from the cult comes in and is like, all right, like snip snip, like take your pants off.
Yeah, I don't know, I actually kind of had the opposite effect. I didn't feel like it was, I guess I was like, wait, why are they doing it? But this was one of those examples where I was like, this feels like they're doing it just to be outrageous, just to kind of be like, this cult is weird. I guess I kind of knew it was going to go nowhere, if that's what I'm saying.
I will say, I do think that this has some plot significance. Do I think that the commentary is anything like brilliant? No. But I mean, I do think that this is maybe a point that Moretti is trying to prove to these people who he is clearly invited there for nefarious purposes. This is him showing them how they cower in the face of celebrity. That's kind of how I took it after the movie concluded.
That's not a bad take.
Is like that, yeah, every single one of them is uncomfortable allowing this woman to do this, but they let her do it anyway because she says that Moretti insisted.
Moretti gives this private performance from a new song off his album. I thought this went on for way too long.
So long. It's like 5 minutes. Like,
yeah, it's a full song.
Whole song. Another thing, I am so unclear on whether or not the movie wants us to like the music or not.
I couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell if it was like supposed to be bad or if it was supposed to be good. What it is like very middle of the road, like Bowie inspired pop music. Like, yeah, it's not anything crazy.
No, especially like in this scene, like Moretti's like dancing around and everyone is like, except for Ariel, who's like very suspicious of just what's going on around her. Everyone is like smiling and dancing with him. And I'm like, I can't, is it supposed to be good? Is it, they're just sucking up to him?
Yeah.
Is it just like this weird state that everyone's at? I could not tell.
Yeah, no, me too. The whole time I'm just like, is the music, like, am I supposed to be really into this music? Like, I just couldn't decide whether the film wanted me to like it or not. I couldn't tell.
Right, because I think it would have also been a little bit better if it wasn't good and it was kind of a commentary on like, you know, when pop stars, like these diehard fans and these like cult member like fans,
they'll insist it's good anyway.
Yes, yeah, totally. During the performance, Emily, who's the influencer, has a coughing fit and is just kind of like escorted away. That night, Ariel sneaks out of her room to explore around the compound, get some more answers, and she finds a barn filled with dead animals, which, why?
We never learn the significance of the dead animals, but it like really freaks Ariel out, and she like she like packs her suitcase and like demands to leave.
Yeah, and this is what I mean, where it's like the shift in her is so sudden. Like, yes, that's weird, but also they live on a commune. Like, they could be killing the animals for food.
That was my first thought, is like okay, I would question like why this weird barn of dead animals exists, but it wouldn't like freak me out. I mean, yeah, like it's a little jarring, but it wouldn't like make me start to freak out and like demand to leave.
Yeah.
I would assume that there was an explanation.
I think it's more so the way that she confronts Moretti that's why I'm like, that's way too sudden.
Yeah.
Like, she literally goes up to him and she's like, well, where's Bill? Where's Emily? You're doing something to them. And it's like, whoa, girl. Like, you don't even have all the facts yet.
Yeah, there's really no basis for her to like come to that conclusion.
For an investigative journalist, like, she is jumping to conclusions.
Yeah.
I mean, she's right, but like, there's no fact. Like, and I feel like if you're, again, with horror movies, you put yourself in that situation, and part of you would be like telling yourself there's a reasonable explanation.
Of course, like we as human beings, that's what we do when we like see something that is strange to us, is we immediately try to find a way to rationalize it. And it's like, I don't know, I feel like maybe she should have found Bill's body or something.
Yes.
And like that would have made more sense to me, like her seeing that and then freaking out.
Yeah, or even just like some sort of hint that they met foul play.
Yes, and there really just isn't. It's just she just sees the dead animals.
Right, and aside from the fact that they're missing. But Moretti says that she can leave, but he asks that she attends the children's puppet show with the others while the bus is like coming back.
Yeah.
The puppet show is so stupid, in my opinion. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the puppet show basically depicts, it's like a bunch of rat puppets that are clearly meant to represent journalists and like harassing a puppet of Billie Holiday, which like, okay, I don't know. It just,
again, it felt done for just the sake of doing it. And like the rat heads are like real, like severed rat heads. And you're just like, okay.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, and this is kind of where the themes of the film start to become a little more clear. It's about celebrity and about how, like, it's about celebrity worship and also about, like, how journalists treat celebrities like commodities.
They're all sitting on these beanbag chairs, and Ariel, the one she is sitting on, suddenly moves.
I did like this part.
This is the first part in the movie where I sat up.
Same.
And this is like an hour into the movie, maybe a little bit. Yeah. So that's not really a good sign. But this beanbag is moving. Everyone gets up, freaks out, and Emily comes out of it barely alive. Her face and her tongue are like horribly swelled up.
I thought her tongue was like a creature in her mouth.
Yeah, it's like sticking out of her mouth.
Yeah,
it's awful.
It's pretty grotesque.
It's from a chemical, some sort of like chemical, right?
Yeah, that like during that performance that Moretti did, like he somehow gave her, I don't know, it's kind of unclear.
Yeah, but she is like slowly suffocating. It's like grotesque and it's like painful to watch.
Yeah, it was. And again, this is kind of the only part that I thought was like effective in any way.
Yeah, mainly because it's so disturbing.
Exactly.
Like her tongue is like about to explode.
Yeah,
that's like, ugh, just gave me the chills. But the levelists start just attacking the group.
Yeah.
Well, everyone starts freaking out. I mean, understandably, and the
levelists just come at them with knives.
To be fair to the levelists, they do try to escape. I'm kidding. But yeah, the levelists literally just like start brutally stabbing. And like this, I agree with you, like it made me sit up, but like also, I don't know, it just kind of felt like very out of nowhere.
Yeah. It also like the puppet show was supposed to be some sort of big reveal about like, we actually hate you guys and like that's why you're here. But it just isn't like momentous or interesting enough.
Not
for
at
like
all.
like I didn't realize that this was the big moment of like revelation about why they were there. I was still kind of like, okay, what's gonna happen next? And I was surprised when they just started killing them, but not in like an excited way. I was just surprised.
Right. Again, it
just kind of comes out of nowhere.
Action that happened in the movie. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Stan, Ariel's boss, and Bianca, the paparazzi, are stabbed to death, which I also just have to say, like, Stan, who's like a pretty important character in this movie, and Bianca, who is literally, I forgot she was even there, them having the same, like, type of death in the same type of way shown as equals just shows you, like, how this movie, like, didn't really do anything with its characters. Because, like, I literally forgot Bianca was in the movie.
Same.
I forgot her name was Bianca. So, like, the fact that her and, like, Stan, who's, again, a pretty predominant character throughout the movie.
Yeah, like, as Ariel's boss, like, they'll kind of, like, debrief after things happen.
And
like,
he provides her the only kind of characterization that she gets. Like, they kind of bicker about who's going to write this story the whole time. So the fact that literally he just, like, when he died, I was like, oh, that's it? All right.
Right?
I guess we're done with him. Sorry. Ariel is able to escape. She runs into another building. She finds Bill's severed head. She finds cyanide. She finds a bottle of champagne. And this kind of suggests that Moretti and the Levelists plan to commit this mass suicide.
Yeah. She is found by the Levelists, like, hiding, and she's knocked unconscious. She wakes up tied to a chair. She then watches Moretti and the Levelists, like, drink the poisoned champagne. Like, she wakes up tied to a chair on stage, like, in this mass suicide ceremonial thing.
Yeah, her and Juliette Lewis's character are tied together, which I also found so weird. Like, why didn't they kill Juliette Lewis in that moment?
It's so unclear.
Because then they just kill her right away. So it's like, what was the point of leaving her alive? Because she doesn't escape.
Yeah.
She's right there. So weird.
Yeah. So then, out of nowhere, this one Levelist is, like, sympathetic, and
The pube woman.
the pube woman, yes, the same woman who shaved her pubes earlier,
Yep.
goes up to Ariel and she's like, I can cut you free. You weren't super tense anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
There's no tension. Again, there's no buildup. I really thought when we saw her knocked unconscious earlier, I thought she was dead. I thought, like, that was it. And I was like, oh. And
that was when I started to get intrigued, when I thought they killed her, but absolutely not. So yeah, she flees and she, like, knocks over this, like, pyre that sets Moretti on fire.
Yeah, he's wearing this, like, ridiculous long white cape, and of course it, like, catches fire, and they're able to put it out, but it was pretty intense.
And Ariel drives away from the compound. Outside of the compound, there are, like, a bunch of fans camping out, like, in cars, and she takes one of the cars and drives off. We then cut to 2 years later.
Yeah.
Ariel has written a successful book about her experience at the compound, and Moretti has been imprisoned for the murders of the other journalists, including, like, Stan and Clara and Emily. The bodies of the Levelists are all missing. So this mass suicide that they apparently committed, like, no one has found the bodies from it. So they weren't able to prove that any of the Levelists actually committed mass suicide.
Which if I was Ariel, I would, like, go into hiding.
Same. She still believes that they all committed mass suicide, but, like, somehow Moretti alone, like, hid all of the bodies.
In the span of, like, 4 hours. Like,
yeah, like, between when she left and then came back with the cops.
Yeah.
And it's like, how could that be the conclusion you arrive at?
Moretti asked to interview with Ariel, and so she goes to the prison, and she literally is like, what did you do with the bodies? Like, girl, there are none.
There were like 100 of them. Like, you think he alone somehow managed to hide these bodies so well that the police can't locate them?
Right. Or, like, destroy the bodies, that there's no physical evidence. Like,
yeah. It's, like, literally impossible.
So at prison, Moretti explains that he wanted revenge against those who criticize artists and stop creativity. He goes into this whole monologue and he reveals that the Levelists are all still alive. Shocker.
Yeah.
Like, girl, we know. And hiding amongst society, they spread the teachings, her book unintentionally revealed. So it's kind of this twist, like, oh, that's why we let you go.
That's why, like, she was invited there.
Yeah.
Is so she could survive and then write about what happened.
Kind of a very risky plan.
Yeah, and, like, so many different elements of the plot like were just conveniences that like
Totally
led to all of this working out perfectly. Like very shaky plan.
I think that they wanted it to be this like big twist, and it
Yes.
like totally did not. It missed that mark so hard.
So then we cut to like a TV interview that Ariel's doing like to promote her book. And she notices that the host of the TV show is wearing one of like the levelest pearl necklaces. And then like that is what the movie closes on. I do kind of like the ending. Like I like an ominous ending. I don't know. I feel like it's just such a forgettable movie. And I feel kind of bad saying that about someone's debut feature just because it's so hard to make a movie. So I do feel genuinely bad saying that about like someone's debut. I feel better about saying mean things about established directors.
Totally.
But yeah, no, it kind of just feels like it took the ingredients of films like Midsommar or The Menu or, oh God, I'm sure there are others. It just felt very, very formulaic, and it just felt like checking boxes. There was no like real artistry or intention behind anything, or so it seems.
Yeah, again, I couldn't really tell what this movie wanted to be. It's not scary, so it's not really a horror movie. The only times where I like really felt like unsettled was in that one scene with the beanbag and the puppet show. And then again, I'm like you, I kind of liked the ending where you see the pearl necklace and you kind of get this like, oh, is she one of them? And then the movie ended and I was like, oh, that's interesting though.
I never really quite understood what people meant when they called movies like A24 core. Like, oh, like it's so A24. And I'm like, A24 has produced a lot of totally different films.
Totally.
And then I saw this movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is what people mean by like it's so A24. Like it just feels like a lackluster version of movies that A24 have produced that are better. Ayo Edebiri, I like Ayo Edebiri. I think
she's great.
She's great. She's great in The Bear. I think she's very there's something about her that's very appealing. She's fine in this. She's serviceable.
She feels
she's not
misused.
She does. And there are some they give her a few comedic beats throughout it, but also, I don't know. I feel like it's a movie that doesn't really know what it wants to be.
Totally.
It doesn't know if it wants to go like the Jordan Peele kind of satire, social commentary route. Doesn't know if it wants to go the like art horror, Midsommar route. And it just feels like it doesn't really know what it is.
Yeah, it's definitely confused, and I'm excited to see more from Mark Anthony Green.
Definitely.
I think he definitely like, I hate to say it like in the way that we could do better because we can't.
No, definitely not.
No, not at all. But I think he has the build to be a great director and a great writer. But this is like upsetting to be a first big project because it's like I just hope it gets better from here. I hope this isn't his peak.
Me too. And what is interesting is he was a staff writer at GQ for like many, many years. Like he was a celebrity journalist. And I feel like that's a perspective that could have been so interesting. And it kind of just feels like it wasn't really explored.
But yeah, it falls flat in a lot of ways, and it was a little bit of a disappointment, I'm not gonna lie.
I agree. I was looking forward to, like, I saw the trailer for it and I was really looking forward to this one, and it was very underwhelming. I'm gonna go like 5 out of 10, I guess. Like it's not incompetent, it's just so forgettable.
I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 10. Like I really don't see myself ever watching this movie again.
Yeah.
And I don't think I really got anything out of watching it. I like John Malkovich, but
I like John Malkovich. I feel like they didn't even give that man a script. Like they just let him go crazy.
He was like, I'm just going to do my own thing. Keep up.
But yeah, just kind of ashamed to watch this one right back to back with Midsommar too.
Well, I said this to you off camera, but Midsommar has such an atmosphere to it. The shots and the writing and the style and everything, the music, like everything comes together to create this like almost fantasy type like environment that we're in.
And another quick thing about Opus is it is not pretty. Like
No.
it is a very visually boring movie, almost ugly.
I wouldn't say ugly. I would say
I don't know
like
why
the story is
yeah.
confused. It's visually confused.
Yes.
The one thing I'll say about Opus is like it definitely is the most realistic in today's world, in my opinion.
I probably would agree with that. Like if celebrity is kind of the thing today that demands a cult-like following. And
yeah,
there are certain celebrities where it's like, oh man, you guys like would join up. Like,
yeah. I mean, so again, like some celebrities like literally do have cults, like Jared Leto.
I forgot about that. Oh yeah, Jared Leto is like rumored to be a cult leader. Like that's like a whole thing.
So like I wrote that in my notes when I was watching it. So that again, I'll give the movie that it is kind of interesting in a very topical
again, I think
kind of way.
Setup could have led to a really great film. I just don't think that this film is that.
Yeah, the execution falls flat, definitely for sure. But yeah, that was Cults on Film.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I had a fun time. This was like an interesting bunch of movies. Next week, if you guys would like to watch along with us, we are going to be talking about motherhood on film. Right before, is it before or after Mother's Day?
I think it's right before.
Okay. Well, in anticipation of Mother's Day,
yes.
we will be watching movies about motherhood. We'll be watching Rosemary's Baby, We Need to Talk About Kevin, and Terms of Endearment. So a very varied week next week.
Very, very great lineup.
Yeah.
I love all three of those movies. They are so incredible in their own way, and I'm like so excited to talk about it with you.
It's gonna be a good one. So yeah, if you guys want to watch ahead so we can all discuss together, do so please. Yeah, that's it for today.
Yeah, so I'm Maggie.
I'm Olivia,
And we'll see you next time.
bye.
Bye.